Hey guys, welcome to the video. Now today we have, not gonna lie, one of the greatest mail openings that I have ever done. We've got a little bit of everything in this one. We've got stuff to tick off my highest wants list. We have got lots of interesting stuff to resell. There's a really good bundle here. We've got modern figures. We've got boxed figures that I've been putting off buying for a while. Some really cool stuff there. And finally, we have got everyone's favourite, bundles of Shitty Jacks figures. So, without further ado, let's get into this. And actually, now that I think about it in its entirety, this might be the best mail opening I've done yet. Unfortunately, I'm still kind of working out the logistics of this kind of setup. We're using my new phone's front-facing camera today to try that out. So we'll see how that goes. The lighting I'm still not massively fond of the way that this is, but it is what it is, unfortunately. I have now finished filming the first part of the DSW Fix the World animated pay-per-view, but unfortunately I'm having trouble editing it. I'm having trouble working out how to edit it. I had a plan in mind, it's went awry, so hopefully we'll get that out for you guys soon. But anyway, today's not about that. Today's about the mail opening. So we've got 4 parcels. 4 parcels, varying amounts of stuff in each of them, and as always I'm going to do these in chronological order. Now it's a little bit of a shame because, as I've said many times, I like to forget what I've ordered, and I had completely forgotten what I had ordered, more or less, apart from this big bundle, and even then there would have been bits in that I didn't remember. But over time I've accidentally remembered / seen the orders in my purchase history or been messaged about them. So this first one is really cool. This was a small bundle, 2 figures, £30 I spent on this one. And we've ticked off a figure I really needed. So the first thing we got is this Iron Sheik. Now, my initial impressions were that I could either keep this and have a spare one. I actually don't like using my Retrofest one because some of the joints are a bit loose on it anyway, but it also makes me a little bit nervous, like that I know I can't really replace it if anything goes wrong. So my initial impression was keep this and use this instead of the Retrofest one. I prefer the head scan on this one anyway. You know, he's a bit more serious, bit more cheeky, bit more angry, you know. I also thought my friend Tomo might want it, but then I remembered there's a new one coming out, and that threw a spanner in the works for both of those things, because Tomo is going to wait for the new one, and I can also wait for the new one. But one thing I do need, one thing that is sort of the theme of this video, one thing I do need is money. So he might actually find himself back on eBay. It depends. With how long I've wanted one of these Sheiks for, it kind of depends. If this was the Series 2 one, then I'd be keeping him. But with this one, not so sure. Never was a massive fan of this particular figure. So, yeah, we'll see how I feel. And the other figure, you might have guessed it, something I've been after for the Fed for a very long time. Wanted to get this for the right price, and I would say £15 is the right price. It's a Nikolaii Volkoff to go with him. Didn't have an elite Nikolaii before, and you know, it was just cheeky on his own. Volkoff was the guy who got cheeky in at his job with all of the despotical Russians who were running the company. But I didn't have an elite one. I just went with my Jax one for the time being. Don't think I ever actually aired any of the segments he was going to be in anyway, but yeah. So, yeah, really nice to pick this up. I just didn't care enough about him to pick him up for, like, inflated Legends prices, getting it in the UK from the US. It's just a little bit ridiculous. It's way too much money, really. Both of these figures seem to be in really good condition, although Sheiky does appear to be sort of leaning off a little bit. Maybe those boots are a little bit kind of bent in there. I don't know. Not massively convinced. Maybe he will be a seller. I mean, he's now struggling to stand back up. But this Volkoff looks like it's in really good condition. The joints seem to be more or less fine. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the Russians in DSW now, because, you know, when the war in Ukraine started, it felt like it was a little bit insensitive to have a load of despotical Russians running around the company. I feel like now the war has been dragged on for so long that, you know, I mean, it's not as if Russia aren't going to suddenly be the bad guy in every bit of media again, you know? It's like they've kind of made themselves the villain of the Western media world, I guess. So, I mean, the ironic thing about the whole mad Russians being in charge of my Fed is that Kozlov himself is actually Ukrainian, and yeah, kind of ironic. But yeah, what I'm basically saying is the Russians probably won't be away in DSW for maybe as long as I had thought. That being said, I have not released anything apart from the retcon to say that they were leaving since the war started, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, really cool bundle. So £30. I definitely think we can get the money back for the Sheik if we don't use him. I definitely feel like he's going to get himself listed because he really is struggling to stand up here. But yes, on to the next thing. And you know me, guys, I like to go in chronological order. So we're going to go with what turned up next, which was this bundle. Man, why do I always forget to sit down with a pair of scissors? I should just keep a pair of scissors over here now. Okay, so this bundle, there's no under or overselling it, guys. This is a brilliant bundle. And it's one of those ones where sometimes you get a sense of them where you're like, I feel like no one's going to bid on that. And the starting bid was like $12.50 or something like that, which is just a ridiculous bargain for what we have got in here. So let's just get in and have a look. Now, one thing I will say is even outside the bag, the smell of Grandma's house is impressive, you know. So first of all, yeah, we've got some shitty Jax figures. So we got a Triple H, all of his hair cut off, just damaged bundle, no problem there. Absolutely filthy on the legs and everything as well, yeah. Just damaged bundle, doesn't matter. We've got a Flash Rey Mysterio. Ooh! Ugh! Just manky. Manky. I mean, to be fair, these figures, they didn't look the cleanest on eBay, but it's such a good bundle that, you know, I'm happy to clean it up and claim the money that these figures are actually worth. Good God, what have they done to Trish Stratus? Look at all that dirt on her legs. That is filthy. Well, these are going to make a good fig bath video. Let's do a Ryback. Yep. Yep. It's actually a really nice singlet. Ryback had some nice gear. It was just a toss pot. So, let's, I think we've only got... Oh, I didn't even realise this was in there. This is like extra value. I'm sure this wasn't on the listing. So, again, it's absolutely filthy. Absolutely gross. But it's a Deluxe Aggression Big Show. So, I do have one of these that still hasn't sold from earlier in the year. And, yeah, I think that's currently on for $17.99. It's probably about time to reduce it for $15. But, you know, my point is, Deluxe Big Show, not a bad seller. And considering I wasn't expecting this in this bundle, that's really, really cool. Of course, really big fig bath coming up. I'm going to have to do that straight away because I need to list these on eBay because I need the money. We've also got a filthy Mr. Kennedy. I don't know what this kid was doing with these figures, but yeah. Got a presumably filthy Undertaker, yeah. I'll probably clean these guys up and then just do a Jax bundle of them. Big Show obviously will go separate. Triple H will just go in a damaged bundle. What's this? Okay. It's some kind of child. And it might be cool to keep it for if I ever have the space to put a crowd in for my Fed. But yeah, I have no idea what figure that is. So if you have any idea, please do let me know. That definitely wasn't on the listing either. Let's go for something that was on the listing. It's this Jakks Pacific Tony Atlas. Now, I was quite impressed by this. You can see the little cobweb or something dangling from his ear. I was quite impressed by this when I looked it up last night. I was thinking he was like maybe like a bit better on the Jakks end, like maybe a £5 in postage deal. It's actually looking more like £15. So that's pretty good. So here's where we're starting to look at the pieces that we're expecting to get money for. We're expecting about £15 for Tony Atlas. We can expect about £15 for the Big Show we didn't even know we were getting. Next up, we're expecting about a tenner for this Stone Cold Steve Austin Deluxe Aggression. That's not bad at all either. Some deluxes, if it's not like John Cena or someone like that, then some deluxes can be really, really good. Next we have... oh god, that's absolutely gross. Yeah, we're going to need to do a good cleaning job on him. But this was what dragged me in. This is what drew me to the listing in the first place, because Hornswoggle figures are really, really good. So as much as this one is absolutely filthy, and we're going to have to get him in the fig bath straight away, we are looking at about £15-16 for him. And in addition to the Jack's Hornswoggle, there's also a Mattel one. And this is probably the least filthy of the figures we've seen, but still pretty filthy. And this opens up a question in my head, because I kind of prefer the 3-man band Hornswoggle, but I also kind of prefer him to not be bald. So I don't know whether I'm going to be keeping this one or the 3-man band one I already have. But regardless, we can sell one of them for like £15. So that is pretty good as well. So we are looking at this point for like 15, 15, 15, 10, and 15 maybe for the big show as well. Next up we have Lex Luger. Also filthy. And the torso joint is far too loose to be any use to me. So that is probably another tenner. So again, really, really good. And finally, really... oh, no, there's two more things left. There's a Stone Cold Steve Austin BCA. I don't even know if I can do anything about that. I will try, but I am making no promises. And the final thing... really cool, really nice thing to spot after a bundle where you're already like Hornswoggle, Tony Atlas, Lex. You're already thinking, yeah, I'm gonna stick a bit on this. But the last thing you spot is an Elite Road Dog, which again is absolutely filthy. But that's probably another like 15-20 quid. So my initial estimate was that I could probably make about £60 off this bundle, which cost me £12.50. And then I kind of thought about it again after I looked everything up last night, and I think I'm looking at more like 80, especially with that big show in the mix. Obviously, we're going to need a massive cleanup job to do any of that. And as fun as this bundle is, you know, I don't mind. Once they're cleaned up and they're selling for great amounts of money, I don't mind this at all. But for the time being, I'm just going to put them all back in the filthy bag. But yeah, really cool bundle, even if it is absolutely gross, like so much worse than I might have expected. It is still a really good bundle. There is still really good value in there for £12.50, you know? It's £12.50. It's really, really good. And now I'm just going to quickly go and wash my hands and maybe give the table a little hoover as well, because there's just crap everywhere here. Okay, so I think it makes sense to get all of the loose figures done first, and then to move on to the boxed figures. So we'll do this one next. There's so much stuff in this mail opening, it could have been 2, but the way everything's turned up, and when I've actually like been able, like had the time to film it, like now, everything's here. So may as well just be one big amazing one. We've got wallpaper. Nice box of wallpaper. Wow. And this is a figure, I've been sort of passively trying to get a loose one for a while, because I do have a box one, but I've just never been convinced about opening it. Because as much as I want a figure of him, I don't particularly care about the accessories or anything with it. And there's one thing I really wanted to find out. So it's an Elite Rhyno. I think I spent £6 something on this. And basically, the thing I was always wondering is, his legs are so chunky, can they even move forward? And the answer to that is, it's not easy, but alright, whatever you guys are into. It's not easy, but I guess they do move forward. One thing I didn't want to do was unbox one I have, and then, like, it's unposable, you know, it's difficult to animate with. That would have just been a waste of time. I'd have been better off just selling the figure. But I figured if I got another one, I can check whether the legs work, which I guess they kind of do. I guess they more or less do. If the joints are in good condition, I can use this one instead. Now, that hand is very loose, and that shoulder would need kind of doing. The shoulders and thighs are way too big. I don't care how big Rhyno was. He didn't have basketballs for shoulders. Yeah, the hands are pretty loose. The torso joint's okay, I guess. I don't know. Mixed bag on that one. Basically trying to decide whether I was going to use this as a loose one in my Fed or whether I was going to finally unbox the boxed one. It's nice to answer the question about his legs. Not sure what I'm going to do with that one though. It might depend on how much I can get for the boxed one at the moment. Let's just lay you guys down over there. And finally, we'll get into the new figures, the boxed figures, ones I've been putting off for a few months now. These are from resellers.com. Some great deals on there. And I realised that I needed to make a move on Mr. Perfect before he sold out in Smith's. And I could get 10% off with the welcome code on Resellers. And they had restocked their Ultimate Andre, which is slightly cheaper than everywhere else anyway, except for Very, where it's now $25.99. And I obviously could get 10% off it as well. So I thought, you know, it makes sense to just pull the trigger, get the figures I've been putting off for a little while. Mr. Perfect and the Ultimate Andre. Now, I don't normally care about Ultimates, and you definitely don't need Andre in Ultimate Edition, but I had a thing a few months ago where I tried to get an Elite Andre, and I paid £15 for it. That came with a broken leg. I ended up getting that fully refunded, obviously, so that was like £15 towards this. I also then sold the broken leg Andre for like £9, so that was like another, probably like £6 or £7 towards this. And I figured, you know, there isn't an Elite around right now, so I may as well just get this. I know there's an Elite coming out, but I may as well just get this. Of course, we got 10% off on Resellers, so this was $22.50, and this was like £30, I think, which is really, really cool. I can't really argue with that at all. The Mr. Perfects come slightly bent, but luckily I don't really care about the cards. Theoretically, I'm an unboxer, you know. Theoretically, I open my figures, and hopefully these won't be sitting on the pile for too long. But yeah, we got a really cool articulated Andre, and theoretically, I could maybe sell my Super 7 one now. We also finally got Mr. Perfect ticked off the list of stuff I really wanted. The list of my highest wanted figures, along with Volkoff, who was pretty low on that list, but he was definitely still on there. We also got some really, really cool stuff to sell on, such as the Hornswoggles, the Elites and everything. Even this Iron Sheik, because his legs are terrible, so he's probably going to go. I need to go and do a fig bath video before I get these on eBay though, and I need to get these on eBay because I need the money. I mean, I treated myself to 2 figures I've been putting off for 2 months, and I've got no money for the rest of the month, you know. So, that's been everything. That is this mail opening video. There have been very, very few mail openings that could possibly contend with how good this one is. So let me know if you think I've had a better one. Let me know what your favorite mail opening ever was. And that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the mail opening playlist in the end screen. And goodbye. But now that they've drawn it out for so long, oh, my lamp has died. My floodlights died.